Welcome to the Fantasy A Dillon Show program, and my name is Dillon Whittier,
and I'm Fantasy A,
and we're gonna be talking about the Mariners, how they lost the 2-3 game series. They only won one game. We're also gonna be talking about the Huskies, how they won yesterday against River State, 35-3, and we're gonna talk about the upcoming Seattle Seahawks versus the Denver Broncos.
Okay. All right. The first topic we're going to talk about is the Seattle Mariners blow lead in series with loss against the Los Angeles Angels.
Well, the Seattle Mariners lost today 3-2 on a Sunday. They continue to fall in American League West standings, which is not good.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
And it might be bad luck, simply a bad matchup, but the Los Angeles Angels seem to have the Seattle Mariners numbers all season. The Los Angeles beat Seattle 3-2 on Sunday. It was a third consecutive series loss for the Mariners against the Los Angeles Angels. 8 of 13 games this year to take the overall season series.
Man, I'm telling you, the Mariners, they don't know what they're doing. They're not doing well like they did at the beginning of this season. I thought they did really well beginning of the season, and now look at them. Man.
What do you think about back in July when they were 44-31, when they were head of the division?
I thought it was great for them to have a good start when we were at first place, and now, since the Astros were getting cooked by the Astros, we fell back to second place, which sucks so hard.
The loss depends Seattle to 69-68, moved them to 6 games behind. What do you think about the 6 games? How can the Mariners come back from this? Do you think, and how can they work together as a team?
Well, what I would say that how the Mariners can get back on track is to only allow a few hits, or I would definitely say how the Mariners can do is by make sure they make grand slams. They have to keep watching the ball in case of which team they have to play. They need to be more consistent without causing injuries. They need to look at the ball without causing more strikes, more foul balls, and much more. And I want the Mariners to pitch well and make sure to watch for this catcher or hitter and make sure that they don't allow any runs at all.
Now, we've all seen all year, we've seen Julio do kind of struggling a little bit, but starting to pull than he did last year. And then you start seeing Justin Turner. What do you think about Justin Turner? How do you think he's doing? After getting traded from the ball club that he was previous with.
I thought Justin Turner turned out to be fine. He is getting a hangover with our new team, the new offense with the Mariners. And I thought he did really good, but he needs to keep at it to get going with his routine to be a good hitter. So I just want to say to Justin Turner, I want you to keep good at it, and he'll get a hang of it. I want Justin Turner to get a hang of it.
Well, since we're staying on the topic, if you can give them one example or give them anything that can help them, because they don't have that much games left, and it's coming down to a wire, like what happened last year when the Mariners fell short in 2023, only making it to the playoffs for the first time since 2001. But what example can you give them? Like what kind can you give them? You know, they might not give a whole lot, but what do you think you can give them hope for?
Well, I believe for the Mariners, I believe they should definitely do one game at a time and finish strong. I want them to finish strong, no matter if they can make it to the postseason, make it back to the postseason or not. But I want them to finish strong of where they were in the beginning of the season and keep the same energy like they had before back in April, May, or June. So I want them to finish strong without making more mistakes. That's what I had to say.
Yeah. Well, we've seen Victor Robles that has done good, and then of course we got acquired from the Rays, and he's been doing good. And what do you think about Rue and some of the other pitchers? Now Rue's been good. He's only averaging 2.29 ERA, which is not bad. But what do you think of Rue and how his pitching's done since coming back?
Well, since then, I would say that I thought his pitching is really go on track, you know? I thought it was really, really good that he should, keep going the same pitch like he has without allowing the other team to run on bases and steal bases and much more. So I would say that he has to keep the same pace up with pitching.
Well, we've seen Rue, we've seen Miller, we've seen Gilbert, we've seen Luis. Luis has kind of been struggling. We've seen Gilbert kind of do good, and also Kirby. Kirby, he's kind of been off lately. What do you think that Kirby and Gilbert needs to work on? Well, Gilbert's been good, but what do you think that Kirby needs to work on his pitching? How can he get back where he was back in June and July?
For George Kirby, I want him to not get distracted on what's been distracting him to allow this player to make a few runs. I just want George Kirby to work on his technique to do a strikeout to that player instead of allowing that player to make home runs and allowing that player to steal bases. So I want George Kirby to keep working on his pitching so he doesn't blow out any more leads and much more.
Well, the Mariners are the only team in MLB to never make to a World Series. Do you think if they keep because some of these teams are going to have to help the Mariners, they're going to have to help Astros lose. But what do you think? Who do you think might able to beat the Astros? Who do you think? What team in the regular season right now?
I would say that. Let me go look up
the rest of their
schedule and see who they're playing next. I know that there are a few other teams that we want them to beat the Astros in order to get back on track. Well, they're playing the Royals. Actually, they're already playing the Royals. So they're playing the Reds next. I don't know how good the Reds are, and they're playing the Diamondbacks.
Ooh, I think the Diamondbacks are good.
Oh yeah, I want the Diamondbacks to do their best to beat the Astros the next 3 games from the 6th to the 8th of September, and the Athletics are not doing well, and I want the Angels to do their best to play the Astros. If the Angels beat the Astros 3 games in a row, that will put us a tie game behind Astros. Mm-hmm. And I want the Padres to beat the Astros too, and the Angels are going to play the Astros again in Houston, and I want the Angels to do better by beating the Astros and not allow Astros to make any more runs.
Yeah.
And that will put the Mariners back up to first place.
Yeah.
So we want this outcome to be true.
That sounds makes sense, and it makes sense because we've seen the Astros. They, back in 2019, they cheated, and there are people still booing at them still to this day. But I think that makes sense. The Astros been doing good, Mariners hasn't. But if, like you said, Mariners can keep doing what they're doing, just keep motivating. They can't lose 2 out of 3. Or get blown or lose 3 games. If at least get 2 out of 3. And some teams beat Astros, to help them. Right now, it's like, can they win? Can they make it? Who knows? We're gonna have to find it out, because otherwise, what can we expect for next year? Or everybody's been not happy the way that's happened all year, but if Mariners just can keep winning one game at a time, like you said, they might have a chance. They just got to find their hits.
Yeah, they have to find their hits, or they're gonna be in serious trouble. So they need to find some to make hits and not make any more mistakes like they did in the last few games.
Yeah, and one more thing about the Mariners, and this is, me and Alex been a Mariners fan our whole lives, and it'd be nice to see them back in the playoffs, but we need some teams going to have to beat some other teams too, in order for Mariners to make it to the playoffs this year, because they're looking a little thin. In the margin, just a little thin. And all year long, they did good in July. They were 44-31, and then boom, look what happened. They went to a series where they went back to their old ways. But how can they not make it back to their old ways? How can they define themselves as a team and as an organization? And how they spent their entire lives just how can they not be on a slump anymore and not be in their old ways?
Not to create any more distractions. The Mariners need to get themselves together, or else they're gonna miss another postseason like last year, and we can't not allow that to happen. So they need to do something, and they need not any more distractions. They don't want any distractions. I just want the Mariners to not create any more distractions. That's all I'm going to say. Not to create any more distractions.
Well, you heard it from Fancier Alex Hubbard. I think if the Mariners, like you said, they can't have any distractions. They can't be getting struck out so many times. They have the most strikeouts than any other team in MLB right now, and it's becoming a thing for them. But they have to work as a team. Their coach needs to. They need to have a. I think what they need to do is have a sit around, talk to these players, and have a meeting or something, and say, hey, look what we need to do. Look what we need to fix. Because I get why Dan Wilson took over for Scott Service. And but Julio, like he says, Julio's been struggling, but he's been hitting good lately. Justin Turner, Dillon Moore, some of the other good players. Oh yeah, and Polanco too. He's been hitting good too. But Justin Turner and also Big Dumper, they've done good, but they just need to continue to not get distracted and not to whatsoever, because like we said, we're just getting tired of hearing the same old every year. Besides the 2022 playoffs from a couple years ago, that magical moment when we beat the Blue Jays and we came back and won that, which is the biggest comeback in history, in playoffs history. And we almost did it against Astros, but losing to them 1-0 last year. So, like I said, Mariners, Well, I'm gonna give you some advice. Just don't be who you were. Like, you were doing good in July, but don't be the same way you did after that, like you did last year. Because it just feels like every year you come close to making it, besides 2022. So, yeah.
All right. That I'm with Dillon on that. Please, Mariners, do this for your fans so they don't turn themselves away. So, anyway, let's go talk about the Huskies, how they did last night against the Weber State.
So, man, those Huskies, first time in the Big Ten, along with UCLA, USC, Oregon, and then now Huskies. After being the Pac-12 last year, after winning their Pac-12 championship for the final year last year, being Oregon 3 times. What do you think about Jeff Fish? Now we know he's been in this for a long time. Before head coaching, he coached for other. He was like assistant or offensive, but he was the head coach of Arizona last year. He turned that team around last year and won the bowl game last year. So, what do you think about Jeff Fish? What do you think about his offensive line, his defensive? What do you think about Pete Carroll's son and also Belichick's son and the rest of the offense? What do you think about that?
I think that Jeff Fish was doing really good. I thought he did really well to help the Huskies to learn from where they were last year. But I would say that Washington Huskies football starts Big Ten era with dominant win over Webster State. And things went well for Jed Fish and the Huskies team in 2024 season opener in Seattle. That might be a bit understatement, to be completely honest, but relatively slow and disjointed start kind of impacted the overall pace of the game for the Huskies early on. So I would say that they performed really well last night over the Webster State, and they beat the Webster State 35-3 just to start the season. How you feel about that, Dylan?
I think it feels great. Coming out last year, it was an unbelievable season when Kellyan DeVore was our coach for 2 years, and then taking us to bowl games, being Texas twice, being Oregon 3 times, being Washington State 2 times under his leadership. But man, just making it to the making it to the to the national championship, first time since 1991. That hasn't, since they played Michigan over 30-something years ago. But just coming off a loss against them was really tough. Seeing everyone going to the NFL draft. But now seeing Jeff, he rebuilt that program. But they're always going to be the Huskies. They ain't going to change their... They may change their routine where the quarterback might run. He might give it to the running back. So I think they're doing something new, but they're always going to be the Huskies. They ain't changing who they are, no matter who they play against in the Big Ten. So if we can keep winning games, they might have a chance to go back in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. If the Huskies keep up with that with the start of the season, that will make it really good for us. So anyway, let's hope the Huskies can continue of what they can accomplish.
I have another thing. So Huskies been around since the 19th century, since the 1800s, and they've always been something. They've never changed their tradition, who they are. They never thought what the culture was, because there was a lot of culture in the college football world, especially back then. And now you're seeing them dominating now in college football more than they were years ago. But man, I tell you, the Huskies and so many other college football teams, it's a maze that they're still around, and hopefully Huskies will continue throughout their whole season. And like I said, if they make it to the playoffs like they did last year, they'll have a chance along with some other teams.
That's good. So Anyway, I would believe in the Huskies and wish them luck on this good season.
Before we go to the Seahawks, what do you think about the 12 playoffs? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you think about that? Because last year we had four playoffs since 2012, since 2014 until the end of 2024. What do you think about the 12 playoffs?
I believe it went well, and I enjoy those 12 playoff games with the Huskies, and I thought they're really good. And under their recent coach, I thought they made some good enthusiastic measures when it comes to football.
Yeah.
And how well their team is played. I'm just saying that I'll give them good credit for the last 12 few years to get things done for the Pac-12, and that's why I love about the Washington Huskies football team, and that they accomplished so much under the new defensive team, how phenomenal they've been, and much more. So that's why I thought. So yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, like I said, if Huskies keep playing this, they got to get through Eastern Washington, then they play against Cougars, the Apple Cup, and then that's when we start our Big Ten conference later on this year.
Yeah, hopefully if the Huskies do well this season, if we reach the Big Ten, we will definitely do another celebration. So let's wait and see. So anyway, let's talk about the Seahawks under the new head coach, Mike Macdonald, and Geno Smith, our recent quarterback, leading our team. So it says there, the chemistry between a head coach and a starting quarterback is one of the most important dynamics in the modern NFL. For the Seattle Seahawks, they have stumbled into an unusual situation between new head coach Mike Macdonald and veteran quarterback Geno Smith. Under ordinary circumstances, Smith would have been shown the door along with former head coach Pete Carroll. However, Smith has played well above expectations the last 2 years, and his contract is one of the best values in the league as position. So Smith will be sticking around for a while longer, even as the rest of the roster gets younger around him and is reshaped in the image of McDonald and general manager John Schneider. So what do you think about the Seahawks this season, and how well do you think they will do this season?
I think Mike McDonald's doing everything right. I think once we start seeing him, what's going on with his playbooks and how he's going to do it, I think we're just do fine. And I think John Steiner did the right thing by getting a new coach, a younger coach, he's 35. And of course, he's like younger than us, right? I'm like 30, you're like 30, 31, and I'm 30. And it's a improvement from the previous year. You know, like I said, Pete Carroll was the culture that he changed the culture around after Mike Hogan retired from coaching, and then Pete Carroll, and then how we won the Super Bowl, and we couldn't have won another Super Bowl, but we'll leave that to the people that seen that one. But it's a new culture. It's a newer culture. They're going to do, they're going to do something different, they've never done before, and they're going to experiment with that. So hopefully they'll be comfortable doing that. I think some of the quarterbacks needs to run more, and also fake, give it to the running back, fake it, and then just run it to yourself. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm liking the way that Mike McDonald has done, and the defensive coaches too. So I'm looking forward to that, and the offense.
Yep, and the Seahawks season opener will start on Sunday, September 8th against the Denver Broncos at the Lumen Field. This is the first opener season game that the Seahawks fans are looking forward to, and we'll see how well the Seahawks will do at their first season opener game. So we'll wait and see what happens.
We may have to look it up real quick with the Seahawks schedule, because we know they're going to be playing Denver. Can I hold it? We know they're going to be playing against Denver on September September 8th, which is at 105. And then they play against Patriots, Dolphins, Lions, Giants, San Francisco 49ers, Falcons, Bills, Rams, 49ers again, Cardinals, at home against Jets, at home against Cardinals, on the road at home against the Seahawks, on the road against the Cardinals, Vikings, Bears, and
Packers.
And Packers, and then we get to the nitty-gritty against the Rams again. So we'll see what happens, but our defense needs to do good, because in the previous 4 years, our defense hasn't been that great since the Legion of Boom. But you know what? This is a new era, and our defense will do fine, hopefully. They just need to they're going to get used to each other. But you know what? I think their defense will do good. I don't think there might be not first place in defense, but I think they'll do well. There might be some struggles, but you know what? They can pick it back up and do what they do, and then their offense too. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what happens when the season starts, and hopefully we'll finish the season strong at the end. We'll wait and see what happens. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to our new podcast series, which is called The Jocko Style with Fancy A
and Dillon Whittier.
Thank y'all for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we will see you next time on the other side.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone around the world. Hopefully you get to watch it on our YouTube channel. It's gonna be called for now, but it's gonna be called the Dillon and Alex Show. It's gonna be on YouTube. So if you would like to look us up on YouTube, feel free to watch us recording it. So should be fun. You're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna be covering more sports this year. So yeah.
Thank you, shout out to Ashley.
Oh, and shout out to Ashley Ryan. Shout out to Chuck Powell. Shout out to Bucky. Shout out to Dave Salty-Mahler, and everybody else that works there at 93.3 KGR FM. We're inspired by them, so thank you.